The night that the fire happened on April 17th, I was taking an EMT class. We had just finished up our test, and someone had said that there was some fire outside, and so we knew it was a pretty big fire, but nothing that I thought anything out of the ordinary. We went back into the classroom, and just within minutes, the pagers all started going off to the first responders that are actively on fire departments in the area. Still didn't know anything about the plant or chemicals or anything kept there, so I wasn't concerned at that point. And then the explosion happened.
It should collapse. There, looks like it's stripped out the window.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We actually heard the explosion at our house, and it blew the front door open at our house in Hillsboro. We were 15 miles north of the explosion when it happened. We knew Jerry was in West for the EMT training class. He was taking a paramedics training class, and we knew he was there, but we didn't know that he had actually responded to the fire. So we started seeing the reports, and then we immediately started trying to call and text him, and we never did get a response.
I remember zipping up my coat, putting gloves on, helmet on, had the full set of gear on. So apparently I got behind that truck when the explosion actually occurred, and very likely 1 inch one way or 1 inch the other, I wouldn't have made it.
I vividly remember standing sort of in the downtown area of West, watching seemed like thousands of people, bringing supplies and coming, trying to help the folks there in West.
I was knocked unconscious. I hit a pickup truck about probably 7 or 8 feet from that door. And so I finally got up. I heard a lot of screaming, got up and started walking toward the EMS building. And a lot of it, our instructor and a couple of other people all kind of gathered together and said, we've got to start helping people. And so we, at that point, just started helping people.
So I was at the ranch when the explosion happened. My law partners gathered here in the office that evening, had me on the telephone, and we thought whether or not we're called on to help, there are other things that we need to be doing, like making provision for families and just seeing what the needs were going to be in that community.
We didn't have to look very far to see the damage that had occurred, the physical damage to so many of the structures. But you could also see it on the faces of the folks that lived there in West. You could just tell that it was agonizing for the people that lived there.
The thing about the West explosion is there was nobody to blame. So nobody really knew who was at fault, right? Or that there was any fault. We didn't find out about all of that until our case was turned over to the Harrison law firm.
Our connections with the West case and the West community are really deep. Here was Robbie Payne, my friend, terribly injured, asking for my help. Was he asking for my help for him personally? No. The primary concern that Robbie Payne had was for the nursing home. He said, Steve, just please take care of our nursing home. That's the kind of community that reached out to us. So it got really personal for us really quick.
In the beginning, I think there were a lot of lawyers that sort of looked at what happened there from maybe a 10,000-foot view and felt like probably not anything that we can do for those that have been injured or those who have lost loved ones. I think for us, for me, I don't think there was ever a question. I knew that we wanted to be involved. I knew that we wanted to try to help any way that we could. What we found out through our investigation is the folks that make agriculture-grade ammonium nitrate know a whole lot more about how dangerous that product can be if it's not handled correctly. And they do very little, and did very little back in those days, to share that information with others. And how easy, really how easy it would have been to have prevented this happening. And so I think we knew, and I think the folks in West knew, that the point needed to be made that this shouldn't happen again anywhere.
What I found refreshing was that he took it personal. He took this explosion personal, and he let that be known that this was more than just getting a judgment. You know, we need to make this right for the people.
When I walked back in on Monday morning, the very first email I read, will always stand out in my mind. Billy Davis, one of the partners, had an email to our group, and it said there was a terrible explosion in West. Please check on all your families and friends, and this is to all the staff here. Check on your families and friends, and if there's something that someone needs, please let us know. We want to be here to help. And I'll never forget that, because to me it's like it's a time that, there were other people that really just want money out of things, and that's not what this firm is ever about. I feel like more than anything, I felt like family that night.
I don't know what the average of a lawsuit is, but 5 years is a long time to be going to court. And through those years, I found them to be, genuinely sincere. They changed from being an attorney to being a friend.
During the course of that litigation, everyone within the firm stepped up and took on roles that they might not have ordinarily handled, or came off of other projects to help, and really came together as a team and believed in what we were doing.
This case was huge in the sense of the man hours that it took to develop these theories of responsibility. Over at least 1,000 hours of testimony that were taken in depositions in this case. Millions of dollars that it took to fund the development of this case. There were over 35 experts involved in this case, and so it was a huge undertaking.
They never forgot us. They kept us informed at all times about everything that was going on. If we needed to be involved, they made sure that we were separated from the fray, right? That's what I mean. They protected us.
I realized that very shortly after I talked to Steve the very first time, that we've got the right firm to represent us as far as the nursing home, the city, and all these families personally that put their faith and trust in Steve and the firm, that they had the right people for the right job.
With the folks in West, like so many other people that we have represented over time, we still get phone calls, we still get Christmas cards, we still get text messages. And knowing that we were able to reach an outcome for them that under the circumstances was incredible and life-changing for them makes all the difference in the world to us.